a look at what's making the headlines in the papers this morning. Let's bring in a rise analyst, Dr. Constance Ikoku. Good morning, Constance.
Good morning, Charles. You seem very happy this morning.
I really can't explain why, but yes, I am.
It is a good thing to be happy anyway. Yeah. Yolanda, you're laughing. Good morning.
I am. Good morning. It's good to see you today.
It's good to see you. Both of you are in black.
Yes.
In contrast, I am in white.
Oh, well, that's the point. But I guess just behind the red tie, there is a dash of white as well.
You do have a white shirt.
Okay, yeah, I identify with you in some way.
Okay, good to see you guys. To look at the papers with us today, we have Iyo Akerega. He is a member of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Hello there and welcome to the program. We'll begin with This Day. In This Day, we have Mo Abudu, Kwame Onwachi, named in Time 100 Most Influential People. Mo Abudu is the CEO of Ebony Life Group, while Onwachi is a Nigerian-American chef. The Time list of the most influential honors innovation, achievement, and impact. No surprises here at all. Nigerians are an unstoppable lot. Doing great, defying the odds in spite of debilitating obstacles, whether here in Nigeria or around the world. Talented people with strong will, you may say.
Yes, absolutely. It's no longer news that Nigerians are very resilient people, quite strong, and they put in their best in whatever profession, in whatever area, endeavor, that they find themselves. So the story of Mo Abudu, Musumola Mo Abudu, I think I get her name right, is she's a very popular person, really, a strong woman who started off as, a consultancy on human resources, and then she gradually built herself up to become a popular media mogul, publishing Ebony Life. She's the CEO of Ebony Life Group. And so she's spread across, really, a great philanthropist, well known. So if she's coming on this time now as coming up as named as one of the most influential 100 persons by Time magazine. Time magazine is it was published in 1999, first published in 1999. The debates started between American academics, journalists, and politicians, and at some point they then agreed that there's a need to consolidate and agree on who indeed are the most influential people across the world. And so Mo Abudu and Nigerian American chef Onwachi, Kwame Onwachi, making that list, I tell you, it's a big pride to the country today. A few Nigerians here and there also bring some sad moments to us, but majority of Nigerians, whether in the medical profession, in sports, and in other diverse areas. Of course, even in cooking, the Guinness World Record was also made by a young Nigerian woman recently. And so the celebration is very loud everywhere. Yeah. It's a good thing happening to the country at a time that back home, there's a whole lot of challenges. So there's something for people to rejoice about and be excited about with Mo Abudu's inclusion in that very, very important list.
Certainly. So from Nigerians breaking barriers to Nigerians watching helplessly as generations are slaughtered in their homes. We have this morning still in This Day newspaper, Plateau, Governor Mutfwang in a state broadcast says fear won't overrun Plateau State. Speeches, broadcasts, we have so many of that in the past when it comes to these states that are facing serious security challenges. This time around, these speeches will not do it.
It will not. Now, I think most people are really getting worked up and very, very angry now because of the numbers of people that are being killed in Plateau. Not just the numbers now, it is becoming almost a weekly occurrence, that is making the Plateau State almost like a killing field, Don't forget, Plateau used to be a home for all Nigerians,
It used to be.
It's a center of unity, peace, and cultural diversity, as you can name it. So, but in the last 20 years, not just recently, particularly got spiked when former military head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, created a local government for I guess, dominated by some Fulani people, I guess, you know. So I think at that point, they began to feel that they have a stake. The Nigerian constitution is a problem. People have always argued that the structure of the Nigerian constitution is creating a whole lot of problems. Who is a citizen? Who is a resident? Who is a settler? These issues are not properly defined. So people come into an environment, after a while, they begin to take ownership of that place. But what we have seen basically is an influx of not just Nigerian herders, because I hate to say these are herders. These are clear foreign terrorists that have invaded Nigeria, you know, and killing people from community to community, from state to state. Unfortunately, the ruling political elite appears to be helpless. The governors, they will always want to run to the president and say, come and help us. Governors can do something. And Caleb Mutfwang, the governor of Plateau State, appears to have risen to the occasion by activating.
He's just told people to arm themselves.
Oh, of course. You don't. You can't sit back and then wait for people to come and slaughter you. It is endless, and statements are being made. Enough is enough. The question is, when will enough be indeed enough? And it is good now. People are rising up. People are mobilizing and organizing themselves for self-defense. And Mutfwang charge is resonating with most Nigerians, not only Plateau people this morning.
Okay, we'll be watching Plateau for you. Let's look at Daily Independent. There we have still on the Plateau bloodbath. Northern elders criticize FG, says it's a national disgrace. Obi asked Tinubu to suspend France trip return to address insecurity. The Northern Elders Forum called for an independent investigative panel to unravel the cause of the bloodbath and demanded deployment of equipment for security forces or equipped security forces. Charles, panel of investigation, we've had this, severally over the years, so I don't think that's the problem. What do you make of the statement or umbrage from the Northern Elders Forum? Do you think this is sincere? What do you think?
I wonder where the Northern Elders Forum's membership is drawn from, but the truth of the matter is that I know, and they also know, that they have a better knowledge of the problem than even the president himself. Yes, the president relies on intelligence reports, but they are from among the people where these problems are coming from and where these problems are happening. So they should not play the ostrich and then say the president is not doing anything. No, they know what the truth is, and there are those who would have to caution their people that what you are doing is destroying the country. And there are those, particularly in a particular north-central state, who are actually turning a blind eye and making all sorts of excuses for what is going on. And if the Northern Elders decide to play the ostrich, then of course I think they are being irresponsible, passing the buck to the president. I mean, the buck stops at their own table, because charity does begin at home. That's what I have to say about that.
Yolanda, let's go to the second leg of that story, where Mr. Peter Obi was advising the president to return from France. He is on a working visit, quote, from the presidency. I mean, in times of extreme crisis in different countries, presidents have been known, to cut short their trip in order to attend to what is going on. What are your thoughts on this advice or counsel?
My thoughts on this are two things. First of all, I just pray and hope that this issue is not politicized, as it's already beginning to look like. This pointing of fingers, why isn't this person doing this? Why isn't this person doing that? We have a national crisis at the moment where blood is being shed. And if it is not taken care of in good time, this can very easily turn into a civil war. If people start turning to, protecting themselves in the numbers, this will become, fights that the government may not be able to contain with time. And I do stand as well and say that the president needs to show face. He needs to show face, he needs to speak up, he needs to do something about this actual situation. You cannot have such high scores of not just adults and people losing their lives, but you're losing vulnerable people. I was looking at a list of the names of the people and the ages, and a great majority of those slaughtered were children. children, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds. This has to stop. And I need to touch a little bit on what Charles had mentioned as well. You know, everybody needs to take responsibility. They need to take responsibility if credible reactions are to be taken. You know, the regional disparities, the elders, you know, saying, oh, this is from Plateau State and we are from the north, it's bringing an even greater divide.
You know, you did mention, if we're not careful, that this could turn into a civil war.
Yes.
Nigeria has been in low-intensity war.
Very true.
Since 2015. You know, Charles, you're aware of that. You know,
Absolutely.
all this terrorism crisis. We have been in war. It's just that we haven't declared that war officially. But what has been happening all over the country, you know, is just unbelievable. Let's see Daily Sun newspaper. Rivers emergency reps summon Abbas. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee on rivers has asked the sole administrator in that state, Rear Admiral Ibokete Abbas, to appear before it as part, or you know, to explain the current state of affairs there. This is part of oversight of the emergency rule. He will come in here. I think it's about time. Concerns have been raised about the actions taken so far by Ibokete, and the House of Reps need to do a thorough job without compromises.
Well, the script that is unfolding before every Nigerian appears to be getting clearer. You know, Ibokete Ibas, a retired vice admiral, he's a soldier, he's a military person. It's a bit worrying, first and foremost for me, even if you declare a state of emergency in a state and there's a need to appoint somebody, you know, in place of their duly elected governor, must the person even be a soldier, all right? And we knew what it took Nigerians to get the military out of the democratic space. And so we appear to be tied to their apron string one way or the other for President Tinubu to even appoint Ibas in the first place, who has a very strong military background. And I guess the president knows what he's doing. He apparently handed him a script which he thinks only somebody with a military background can implement without question. You know, don't forget, soldiers take orders. The president is the commander-in-chief. And so Ibas has gotten in there and he's been dismantling all the democratic structures, all the political structures, sacking political appointees, dismantling the local government structure and attempting to appoint even sole administrator in the local government. So if he thinks he's going in 6 months, why would he do that? Apparently, the House of Reps is just realizing that they have a big danger in their hands. It's like somebody who brought home a small tiger, thinking it's a pet dog, only to realize that as the dog grows, he discovers that he has the fangs of a tiger and is beginning to bear his fangs. So the House of Reps is waking up now to realize that if care is not taken, this can snowball beyond their control and everybody could lose out.
No, actually, officially, the National Assembly is supposed to oversee
oversight
during the emergency. So that's what they are doing.
Yeah,
so
they are oversighting, but they are the ones that approve.
It's not they are realizing, it is their job to do that. Charles?
No, it's, excuse me, when the sole administrator summoned the governor and his deputy. At that point, I was like, excuse me, I think you are overreaching your authority. The man is not the ex-governor. He is the elected governor of Rivers State. He does not, technically speaking, answer to you. You are there to restore order. I don't think the order was lost in the first place anyway. So, of course,
yes.
Anyway, you are appointed to do a job. And then you now arrogate to yourself the complete executive powers and even beyond of administering Rivers State. You know, like Dr. Akerega mentioned, you know, you're dismantling all the structures, putting in new ones, and you're supposed to be there for 6 months. I think the House of Representatives is now waking up to its assigned responsibility, and they should do a very effective job this time around.
Let's move quickly to Daily Trust. FG makes peace move to Niger Republic. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugur, is said to have led a high-level delegation to restore damaged bilateral and diplomatic ties between both countries. Yolanda, what a turn of events. It seems that common sense is now prevailing.
Yes.
Niger is at our backyard, and it was going to come to this. We'll have to restore those ties in spite of what happened, you know, the military rule that occurred in that country. You know, they still have a military president anyway.
Yes, I don't have much to say about this, but I just want to echo your sentiments when I say that it's about time. Finally, common sense is starting to come into play because, you know, this diplomatic move, you know, to strengthen the commitment to the region is exactly what we need. This is the stability that West Africa needs at the moment.
Indeed, stability is needed. The Guardian newspaper, insecurity, economic concerns trail Tinubu's push for fresh census. The president has already set up a high-level committee expected to submit an interim report in 3 weeks. Nigeria's last census was in 2006. The National Population Commission says it's committed to a credible census. There isn't much to say here other than to correct the flawed census over the years that has led to skewed representation and political tension in this country.
Well, I agree with you. Let me just correct Charles. I don't have a PhD yet. Maybe I'll have one soon.
You know, most of our analysts here
yeah,
they PhDs, have so PhD, of course, I mean, it's just wide in my hand. Sorry about that.
Perhaps I'll work towards that. Now, the thing is, 19 years ago, that was the last time Nigeria actually knew, have an idea of how big we are as a people, the population. But I just looked at the figures this morning. We are about, at the 2025 figures, 257,537,537,000 and 500 something, 500,000 or so. So we are just looking at about 237 million. That is who we are really.
Okay.
And these figures are being given to us by external institutions, not even the National Population Commission. So we have been able to do a credible census ourselves. For me, the sad aspect of it is that as a country, our institutions are not strong enough to deliver credible outcomes for us that we can rely on. You know, so we still depend on foreign institutions to give us these figures. Well, concerns have been raised about insecurity, the economic hardship. There are certain areas, if you look at the northeast right now, is spiking in Boko Haram and Iswap attacks. Can you really get into those areas and do a census? Okay. So there are a whole lot of issues coming up. People are also hungry. Would they be willing to offer themselves to be counted? Yes.
Yeah, New Telegraph quickly. Police uncover gun smuggling network in Kano. Recover 19 fabricated rifles. And then let's move to the international headlines. Daily Graphic here, President launches 1 million code initiative, Citizen newspaper. We have School of Hard Knocks talking about a school without water, electricity, lose, and teachers have to pay 3,000 rand per month without basic amenities. On to Daily Express, victory for common sense, for reality as Supreme Court judges rule the legal definition of a woman is based on biological sex. Yolanda, I'm sure you want to come in here. Let's also go to Daily Telegraph before we discuss. Trans women are not women, it declares there. What a landmark historic ruling for the UK ending culture war that has been raging for years.
I'm shaking my head in shame because if it's not broken, why try to fix it? We never had a problem to begin with. It's just the world that brought about all of this confusion in transgender women and, you know, being very sensitive with the words that you use in certain parts of the world. I'm very glad that this has come about finally, and common sense has truly prevailed, because now maybe there'll be some clarity with how people move forward. There will be a better, you know, awareness in how people relate. I remember, I don't remember if it was the US or the UK, but there was an issue where a row was almost breaking out because one of the legislators was referred to with the wrong pronoun. And I mean, for us to get to that sort of that level at you know, with our governance is quite a shame. So yes, common sense has prevailed, and finally, thank goodness we have gotten to this point.
And you know, for athletes, this is very important because we had a lot of women refusing to compete, because they had to compete with trans
Against
women
men.
who they still
Absolutely.
regard as men in terms of physical strength. Yeah, so yeah, let's see another paper. We have newspaper. Electric cars with Chinese parts banned from UK, and military sites amid spying fears. Staff working at Britain's premier intelligence hub have been told to park their EVs at least 2 miles away over spying fears. They fear these cars might be tracked, and sensors in the cars used to collect intelligence at military training sites. I mean, it means that, I mean, this is going to hit Chinese sales, because it means the staff, for instance, they wouldn't want to buy these cars. They are cheaper and reliable, but, you know, this is trade war and national security at the same time. Charles, very briefly, you were
the
laughing.
Chinese don't seem to have done themselves any favor, you know, by adding those components, those espionage components to the things that they manufacture. I mean, I think that's what the US and the UK and other European importers of their goods have actually found out. And so it's going to hit Chinese imports very, very hard, particularly the ones that have to do with technology. So really, they have not done themselves any favor in that regard.
With good reason, Charles, don't you think? I mean, remember in 2018, the AU, there was an espionage saga where the African Union was laced with cameras. So this is with, I support this. I support this. You know, you have to be wary.
Which part of it do you support? The espionage aspect of it?
All right.
And just one word, one word here.
Briefly.
You know, if you remember the Israeli Hezbollah war, the pager issue, how Israel was able to detonate pagers in Lebanon that took out so many Hezbollah commanders and leaders. So the world is moving away from human physical spying to gadgets and technology. So every country is very careful.
All right. I wish we had more time. We have to lay it to rest. Iyo Akere, a member of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
And thank you, Dr. Constance, for, as usual, driving incisively this newspaper review. That's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Charles Eruka. It's goodbye from me.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.